Welcome back, y'all. Hope y'all doing good in life. I hope we all doing okay. So in today's video, I just wanted to talk about a couple of settings that I think everybody should change, or at least tweak with, or at least give a chance to just look at, and it will make your experience way better. I promise you, even if it's the slightest. I think this is very important. I really appreciate all the support that everybody has been giving me. I will say that in all my videos because I really am appreciative of the support. I love it, and you know, it's amazing. I love making these videos for y'all because it's cool, and I like helping people. I really do, genuinely. If you learn anything from this video, make sure you give me a like and subscribe, thumbs up, and comment. Really helps the algorithm push my videos. Nah, that's enough talking. Let's get into the video. Let's go. All right, so the first thing I wanted to tell you is you can change the scope direction. You on the options menu and go all the way over to controls and go on the second page. You should see the scope direction, and you can change these for two things. You can either have your character's direction or you can have it the camera's direction. The camera's direction I would really recommend for range players, so like bow, you know, heavy bow gun, light bow gun. Those, like, basically it just benefits you to have that because you need more of a like an outer picture of what you're doing. You know, the character, I would really recommend that melee characters get that one specifically. I think it helps y'all way more, you know, in certain situations, especially greatsword and, you know, long sword, like I said before. So if you're a ranged player, I think you should change the camera, and if you're melee, I think you should change the character. All right, so another one is the camera distance. So if you go in the option menu and go to controls and go all the way to the third page, you can actually pick how far your point of view is. Basically, that's what I call it. The point of view, having it far away is like the best option. I mean, I don't really care what weapon you use, and I feel like this will just benefit anybody. It doesn't really matter, ranged or not. This is having it far away doesn't make that big of a difference, but being able to see more of your surroundings or your outer surroundings will help. If you're on PC, there's a mod that helps like point of view as well, and it makes it actually a little bit better if you wanted to go that route. But if not, you're on console, this is the best it's going to get, but far away is probably the best option for you. I would recommend definitely just being able to see everything is way better. So yeah. All right, the next one is my favorite one because I didn't know this for the longest time, and I have over 10,000 hours on this game, and I still didn't know this. So like once you first see a monster, right, we all get that animation where the scout flies is kind of leading you into the direction of the monster. But have you ever got the animation where you can't lock out, like you lock onto the monster, like you can see in the video? Like it locked me onto the monster, so I physically couldn't do anything else, but my camera was facing him. I could have probably like stopped, but for a certain amount of time my camera is locked onto him because the scout flies are forcing me towards the monster, because I guess they overrule everything else that is following. And if you want to turn this off, just simply go into the option menu, right, and go to the game settings, go to the second page and go where it says tracking scout flies, and just say do not track or do not follow, and this will just take away that animation, so you have the freedom to, you know, if you just wanted to head a different direction, it doesn't force your camera in the direction where the scout flies want you to go. I think this is very important, and this is very annoying for me. I know, especially with speed running, and a lot of other stuff that I do is really annoying. So I know this has to be annoying for somebody else in the world somewhere. So I hope I just solve somebody's issue, because for the longest time I couldn't understand how to turn it off. So yeah, that's very important. Please turn that off. Another one is automatic sheath and manual sheath. You're gonna want to turn on manual sheath, so you have the power to do that yourself every time. So just go in the option menu, go to the controls. It's on the first page. If it's on auto sheath, change it to manual sheath. If you are a greatsword user, you will get 1,000 times better. So you don't want to give the game the chance to mess you up in a serious match potentially because you're sheathing. You don't want to get caught in the animation. I'm not going to show it here, but you know, we get caught in the animation a lot of the time already enough just by the game just being BS already. So you don't want to get caught in an attack just because the game decides that it wants you to sheath your weapon. And sheathing your weapon, all that means is just putting up your weapon. So this will make your gameplay 100 times smoother and better, especially for greatsword. Another key one is the silhouette. So basically, like if you're in a bad position and you can't see your character, you can see yourself if the camera's in a bad angle and you need to see yourself from a particularly bad angle. This will just make your hunter visible to you so you can see him behind the monster. I think this is very important. Go to options and go to game settings on the first page, and it should be all the way at the bottom or nearly to the bottom, and go to silhouette and change it. You can change it, you know, to bright white, or you know, you can just change it however you see fit. But this is a really good implement that they added into the game that I think a lot of people do not know about. Even me, I really didn't understand what this did until, you know, I watched a couple of videos and I understood and I tested it out for myself. It's a really good mechanic, so make sure you turn this on. Another key one, a very important one, I know we got the lock on target system, but even if you do use it, it is ways to make it like bearable more than it is on like the default settings. But another thing I would recommend before we get too deep into like the locked on target mechanic is just to turn like targeting all monsters off, so that way you don't target small monsters. I really feel there's no need, but even if you do need to target small monsters, you can turn it back on. If you need to turn it back on, just go into the options menu, go to the camera, go to the second page, and you should see the what I'm talking about: target all monsters, target small monsters, so forth. But it's really no need to, because honestly, once you get to a certain part of the game, you're only gonna be fighting like, you know, actual large monsters. You're not gonna really need to target small monsters. So I would just recommend turning that off, because even if you do use the target system, you don't have to worry about auto targeting the small, you know, everything, literally everything in the vicinity, depending on the map, you're going to just target everything. It's going to be a whole mess, and it's just going to add on to the stereotypical reason why people don't like auto targeting, even though it really isn't the best anyway. But this will make it a little bit more bearable. Since we talked about the targeting camera, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the focus camera and the target camera. I'm not gonna lie, if you ever played Elden Ring or you play Dark Souls, you're probably going to be more familiar with focus camera. That's where I think they got the idea from, and they implemented this because this is like a new thing. The target camera is so much better. Focus camera is like you can like toggle, like I was saying before, you can like toggle only the large monsters and it'll track it, right? But if you break out of the frame within the camera while you have focus camera on, then, you know, if you're turned around, you can't like really flip back into the frame and auto track back. You can't snap back on and auto track back onto the monster, which is crazy. And I don't know why they have this as a default setting. They should really have targeting as the default, not focus. But I would just recommend turning it on to target, because if it's on target, right, like like I said before, if you're around the map or you're like, you know, turn around or anywhere, it's going to snap back onto the monster just like that. So this is really the best option for you. I would really recommend to turn this on, and I'm pretty sure everybody, if you have never changed the settings, yours is on focus. So just go ahead and change that after looking at this video. Make your gameplay a lot smoother. I used to talk so much ish about it, but it's at least bearable with those two things that I just recommended. So I would definitely change those, most definitely. Another good option that I would say try out and probably turn off is the auto slinger option. The slinger like basically auto tracks to the monster if you don't turn this off. This can kind of mess up like certain strategies that people have, especially speedrunners. So if this doesn't really bother you, you don't have to worry about it, but this can benefit you, especially if you just throw a slinger on the ground and kind of distract the monster. If you didn't know, if you like throw slinger before the monster actually like tracks you onto the map, then it, you know, kind of just stands there and looks stupid for about 3 seconds, 4 seconds to give you time either tenderize, you know, clutch claw, you know, get your tenderizing off. And that's usually what speedrunners and, you know, people who've been playing the game for a long time do. But if this tracker is on, then it really makes it difficult, because if it tracks to the monster, then sometimes you end up hitting the monster when you really was trying to aim like at the ground, because all you got to do this trick is just to aim the slinger at the ground, then the monster will look stupid. A whole bunch of monsters fall for this trick all the time. So I think turning this off will actually benefit you, especially if you're a more experienced hunter. I think it should really benefit you. All you gotta do is go to the options menu, go to the camera settings, go to the page 2, and you should see it. I would really recommend turning this off, and especially if you're a speedrunner, bro, just turn this off and you'll see a great improvement in everything, bro. So all right, the next one is the camera speed. So you can change your scope speed and your camera speed. I really want to dive deep into this one because I feel like I get a lot of questions about this, and a lot of people ask me what my settings are, but I want to be very clear when I say this. My settings are not your settings. You know, whatever works for me and my speed running is not going to work for you. I have a very, like, I'm very hyper when I play. I like to move my hands a lot around the controller. Like, I am very, like, I'm like a crack. When I play the game, I'm like a crackhead, bro. That's literally why I speed run and do all this, because I'm like hyper active when I play the game. So I play fast, you know, fast. I feel like everybody should change their camera speed to fast. Keeping a good speed, a camera speed means you have a good idea of what's going on around you, so you can kind of keep pace of what's going on. But as far as the scope speed, like how far that is, like how fast that's going, that's really depending on the monster you're fighting, how accurate your bullets are, how comfortable you are. This really all comes down to the player. So I'm really talking from a bow standpoint, because I'm a bow main. If you're on this channel and you main something else, it doesn't really apply to you. But if you're using a bow specifically, I just want to talk to y'all real quick. You know, the crazy part is one thing might not be for you all the time. You might fight Rajin and you might turn down your scope speed just a little bit. You know, your aim is a little bit off when you fighting Rajin, and then when you fighting, you know, Velkhana, you might turn it back up. Like, specifically for me, I keep it the same all the time because I'm just used to fighting monsters. When I wasn't used to the game at all, I used to always change this all the time. So it's not a bad thing to keep changing this, but I would very much experiment with this. I say this in like every one of my bow tutorials. tutorials of both videos. You need to experience with this and see yourself what works for you. You really got to make sure that you're doing what's beneficial for you only, because I don't know if your hand trembles when you aim. I don't know if you are very confident in your shot. I don't know if, because if you're very confident in your shot, and some people like to play very slow and controlled, like, they don't really like that much movement. I'm really the opposite. I really like fast. I like fast pace. I like my camera fast. I like my scope to be fast, because that's just how I play. I just normally play like that. If I move any slower, I feel like I'm being like, chained down. I want to move as fast and comfortably as possible. That's specifically only for my play style, right? And I'm breaking this down because it's really important for you to understand this, because I feel like a lot of people ask this, and but I had to go on that rant real quick just so you can understand the benefits and the just how important this really is. So, but please experiment yourself and find what works for you. I wanted to throw this one in there too. Hopefully you're still looking at the video. If you are, I appreciate it, man. Make sure you like, subscribe if you enjoying the content. I wanted to talk about the damage indicator. So if you go to the quest settings and go to the first page, like all the way down, you can turn on whether you see the damage indicators or not. I really like psychologically, I think it helps, right? So when you see damage, on a lot of people, it gets to your head like, damn, I'm not doing enough damage. Like, I suck. Like, oh my God. Like, especially if you play with somebody who's more experienced and play the game a lot more, you see that they're killing monsters faster. It'll kind of get to you. So I met this dude one time, like probably 3 years ago, man. Cool dude, used to main longsword, right? And he used to get really good times. And at that time, I was like average. I was like getting around 17 minutes on ATV Volcana, but I wasn't really that good, but I was like okay at the game. But I never understood. Like, I used to love playing with him. And he told me one day that the people that was, he was playing with that was even better than him. He was like, yeah, man, somebody told me just to turn the damage indicators off, so I don't even look at the numbers. I don't even worry about the numbers. I mean, mind you, he already knew that his armor was good, and all that stuff, but it really helped him facilitate an actual play style and not worried about, the damage that he's getting. So he actually was worried about, just landing his hits and I guess focusing on and locking in on the monster. So I mean, this could potentially help somebody. I would experiment this. I would experiment with this. It might make you better. I just wanted to throw this in here because I never really seen somebody other than him talk about it, and it did help him, so it might help somebody else. So I wanted to throw this in there. But yeah, that's it about that. Another cool one is that you can change your radical menu. So there's two types of radical menu. Radical menu is like that circle that you probably see somebody else bring up. It's basically what you see on the screen right now. And if you just have it on type 1, you can just flick it. You can flick the right stick whichever direction, and it'll bring out whatever item you have. If you because sometimes you're in a rush and you're in a battle, so sometimes you accidentally put some stuff, and I have done this in battles, and it's kind of messed me over. You can put it to type 2, and then type 2 you can just push down R3 instead of just flicking R3. That is a way safer method than just flicking it, because flicking it, and you could probably push anything by accident. So pressing R3 instead of flicking the radical menu stuff on your item is way more safer to me, in my opinion. So I think that's worth looking at. You can make it to where people just can't join your quest willy-nilly if you just feel that type of way about it. You can put it to manual accept in the option menus in the quest, and like the first page in the settings. You could put it to auto accept so anybody can join, or manual, and that way you have to manually make sure that they join the quest. So you ever been in a quest and like you just sitting there and the dude's in the quest and you still can't join? Probably most likely he has manual quest on, he's just not accepting you. Another cool thing is in the game settings on the first page, you can actually turn off most of these icons that you see. So if you're trying to go for a more like aesthetically pleasing little video or a picture you want to take on Monster Hunter World, because they have a lot of cool backgrounds and a lot of aesthetically nature pleasing backgrounds. This is a beautiful cinematic masterpiece, honestly, bro. This game sometimes in the in the scenery. So if you want to take a cool little picture or something, you can turn off all the icons, take a cool little picture instead of having that that little Capcom image at the bottom of like the view mode, which I can't stand. So this is pretty cool. I would kind of mess around with that if you got a chance, if you're a little free, little cool little option. They got a little more options in Rise, but it's still pretty cool in World. So I like to use different stickers, and my radical menu, like I wanted to like use different stickers for the longest time, but I would literally change them and they would never save. Like I would save them literally in the game. I would change my radical menu, save it, even change the name, everything. every time I booted up the game or I went into a different game or turned a different lobby, it will revert back to the previous loadout I had for the radical menu. So I never understood why it would never save, and I would ask people, they were like, all you gotta do is change it, and I would do it. But you actually got to change this in the options. I did not know that until I was like making this video, and then I just found it because I was making this video editing. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So if you didn't know, if you're saving like your radical menu and it's always reverting back, just go to the game settings. It's on the first page, and just don't auto link it or manual link it. Just put never, and just, you know, every time you change it, it'll just change to that loadout you want. You know, if you want it the other way and you wanted to revert it back to like your original one that you always had, no matter what, like the first time you edited, then put manual. But if not, if every time you change your radical menu you want it to actually stay like that every time, then you need to put never. I'm not really too sure what auto links does, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and like try to make up something, but those two I do know what they do. But never is for me, because I used to always try to change my radical menu. It will always revert back no matter what I did. That is the solution if somebody is looking for that. But yeah, you can auto accept the guild cards. So if you're just tired of like sorting through the guild cards that you get, or somebody sends you their guild card, you can auto accept it. Or you can have certain requirements that need to be met if you want to accept the guild cards. Or, you know, so you could do a lot in the settings if you just put start and go to the guild card options. If you just click on guild card when you put start, but you can tweak it with the settings. So you can you know, if you just always want to just auto accept them and then auto reply with your guild card instead of just accepting it and then manually sending it back, you know, that's a good option. But, you know, that's there if you want to. And man, that's the end of the video. I really appreciate y'all looking at the full video, man. Every time y'all look at these videos, it really supports me and helps my channel grow. I really enjoy helping and making videos like this to just help new hunters, because like new hunters are basically the new generation, and we got to make sure y'all are good and y'all understand the game at a, you know, a certain point. So the bow, try to cover that as much as I can and teach people. You know, whenever you're looking at this video, man, congratulations. Monster Hunter World is a great game, and I'm so glad that you want to learn more and that you looking into it, and that you, even if you brand new experience, I just really appreciate you coming into this game and making it more known, because I feel like this game should be more known, and I wish people would give it more of a chance, because it's really a good game. And I know I talk a lot of crap about Rise, but Rise is fun. I just like World better. But you know, all really the Monster Hunter World series is just amazing. So welcome if you are new. I hope y'all stay around. This is an amazing game. WoW should be coming out, I don't know when you see in this video, but that's all I got, man. If you do to the channel, like I said, and this helps you, make sure you like and subscribe. It helps me. And man, I'm out, man. I hope y'all have an amazing day. Stay up, man.
Talking shit never made money. Mama told me gotta save money. Now